It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. At some point in our lives, most people come up with an idea for something that might improve something or actually benefit other people in the world. And most of us just let that thought go by the wayside or don't know how to do it or then realize somebody else has thought of it already. Every once in a while, somebody comes up with something that's a pretty cool product and then actually has the initiative to do something about it, which is why we welcome in our old friend Matt Jansen to the studio to talk about something that he has come up with. That's pretty cool, especially if you're in the musician world. Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
All this time, you would come in and talk about Albertsons and bring me fried chicken, and we had no idea about your musical connections and your musical abilities. You're quite the musician.
I do have some musical inklings, yes. I've something I've always really enjoyed. I played the drums for a long time, picked up the guitar a few years ago, and I just kind of always enjoyed playing, and I had kind of a random idea, so decided to work on it and go for it.
And the idea is called CajonAlone, which is essentially a way to make somebody become the ultimate one-man band, as it were.
Yeah, pretty much. It's and it's spelled like CajonAlone, and I get that a lot, but it's actually CajonAlone. It's part of the name is the Spanish drum that I use. It's a box you play, makes a bass and a snare sound, but basically it lets you play the drums with your feet so that your hands are free to play the guitar, and then I like to sing and whistle and all sorts of good stuff to try to make a full band sound. I actually played down at Jump for First Thursday yesterday,
nice.
And it went off pretty well. It was I've gotten great reactions everywhere I played, and it's a lot of fun.
I imagine, to the layman, it might be somebody that wouldn't pick up on it. But if people that actually kind of know what you're doing and have done some of the stuff that you've done before and worked with the instruments you've worked with, I imagine they walk away going, wow, that's pretty cool. What is that?
Yeah, I get pretty cool reactions. And in general, it's surprising what a full sound you can get out of it. In general, as a guitarist, you kind of play and you're like, man, I wish I had drums with me. And it's even I've heard Dave Grohl, he's like, I don't like to jam by myself. I like to bring people in. And so basically, it gives you that opportunity to add the drum sound, which really enhances it. And in general, when you play the guitar, you kind of do a foot tap anyway with your right foot. And so basically, this is adding one more foot, and you can make it as simple or as complicated as you want as far as the drum beat goes. I think it'd be really hard if someone were coming up, just never played any kind of instrument. Probably not the right thing for you. But if you play the guitar or you played the drums or you play both, or honestly, I'd love to see someone play the piano and see how it goes with it too. But in general,
boy,
if you
that
have,
could get weird.
I know, yeah, or the accordion. I'd love to see an accordionist.
So when you're thinking about this, what's the market for the CajonAlone? I think immediately like street performers who are by themselves and they need that. But what are some of the other places you see musicians using this?
Well, a lot of single musicians. So and a lot of times there's guys in bands that like to go play on their own anyway because it's easier to book shows. You can practice. You can have songs easier because you don't have to worry about getting 4 or 5 guys together. But this is great for coffee shops. It's great for small bars. It's great for anywhere. If you have a small PA system, you can get away without a PA system. But if you're in a coffee shop type of setting, it's good to have a PA system. But I play out on the street. I went on a little 5-week road trip to kind of promote it throughout the U.S. and I did a lot of busking, which is for the layman, it's basically just playing out on the street, and you can get away with it, and it sounds pretty good. It sounds better if it's got a PA behind it. But in general, yeah, street musicians, people that play in coffee shops, generally anyone. If you're having a hard time finding a band to play with you, it's a great way to add a little extra live drumming with whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So I got a couple things here. An observation and then a favor here. So, we use a cajon almost all the time. We do an X session.
Yeah.
Bands have to use a cajon, and so that's a really interesting thing when you think about it. A lot of drummers are lazy. They don't want to come in for the X sessions. They could just stay in the van or the bus or whatever and sleep in. So if we had a CajonAlone here to feature in the X sessions, some musicians might be like, oh, hey, we don't even need this drum.
I can play with my feet instead of my hands. I
yeah.
like it.
As a drummer, I'd feel bad displacing drummers throughout the world. So
I have too many drummer friends. They're probably like, Big J, shut up.
Randy's going to come at my door with pitchforks and fire torches soon.
Yes, usually what I'm saying is you should hook us up with one of those, and it would be a great advertisement for your CajonAlone.
For sure.
Just to let you know. I'm the guy who asks for stuff.
Yes, it's very
heck
true.
Yeah, I'm the guy to give it. I just feel bad I can't hook up the fried chicken anymore. So whatever you want, Big J.
I'll take a CajonAlone as a down payment on all future chickens.
Fair.
Talk a little bit about the actual process of getting this thing done. How long did it take? Has it been a long journey, Matt, from actual idea inception to product being ready to use? Was it a long, tedious thing for you to put together?
Well, it was and it wasn't. It was kind of a random deal. I was telling you guys before we got on here, I kind of came up with the idea. I was on vacation. I spent time with a buddy who was self-employed. And, he was working from the ski hill, we're up at Grand Targhee, and I was like, gosh, that looks awesome. And so for whatever reason, I was driving home from Idaho Falls, and there's nothing but time between Idaho Falls and Boise. And I just kind of had this idea, like, what if I could play the drums and guitar at the same time? And so as I'm driving, I kind of started putting it together, and I thought the Cajon would be a good option to do it, and then thought about the double bass pedal. And I have a cousin, Tasha, who was hugely instrumental in helping me kind of put everything together and help with prototypes. He's a mechanical engineer, and he basically takes ideas from inception to market all the time. So he was cool enough to help me out with it and figure out how to create it all. So that process was actually fairly quick. I think it was 6 months or so, and I put in a patent and all that good stuff. And then I had a little bit of personal tragedy. My father was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, so that kind of redirected all my time to that when I wasn't working. So I didn't really have much time to work on the CajonAlone, and so he actually passed in January, which was pretty tough. But it was also good motivation. He was a healthy guy. He didn't smoke. He was a light drinker. Didn't do drugs. And this cancer just kind of caught him out of nowhere. So for me, it was a huge wake-up call that, if you want to do something, get off your butt and do it. Otherwise, you don't know how much time you have left. So I basically, I gave 2 months notice to the great folks at Albertsons, and nothing against that company. I loved working for them. They were a great employer, and they're a great company. But I just I wanted to be an entrepreneur for a long time, and it just it felt like the time. And so sold my house, moved into a camper trailer, and really went after the CajonAlone. And I'm really glad I did it. It's been challenging. It's been a lot of fun. It's a little nerve-wracking and unusual to be kind of on your own when you've worked for someone your whole life, but it's really freeing too. And it's great to have the autonomy to do what I want and just have this project of mine I can work on and push on. It's a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, you're following your dream, and now you're winning awards, man. Talk about that.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to win Young Entrepreneur of the Year from the Boise Young Professionals, another great organization. If any of the listeners out there are looking for an awesome way to kind of grow your connection base and also do some great things in the community, Boise Young Professionals is an awesome group. I'm really proud to be a part of it. But yeah, that was really touching. I was actually at the Boise Young Professionals Gala a couple weeks ago. And God, it was kind of unexpected. I mean, I was a finalist, so I half expected it. But I mean, there was some great other small business owners that I was in the running with. So I was very touched. It was really cool to be recognized by my own peers. And so yeah, that was really awesome. And then things have kind of picked up from there. I like I said, I played at the Jump building down last night for First Thursday and had a lot of fun with those folks. And, just trying to keep doing videos and do blogs and probably do some more traveling here in the near future. My past travel, I'm a little lazy on my blogs. I'm a couple behind, but basically I've got some blogs at CajonAlone.com. And basically there's some pictures, tells the story of, things I encountered, people I met, and places I played. And it was just such a cool experience in general. I guess for the listeners out there, I would say, if you have a dream, go for it. Make sure you take the time to prep and do whatever you can to be ready. You don't want to go at it broke, but do what you can, and just in general, if you want to do something, go for it, because there's only so much time in this life. If
there are some musicians out there that are listening that want to check out exactly what the CajonAlone is and where they can get more information, what's the best place to do that?
Oh man, there's a few. I mean, I'm on the Facebook.
Nice.
I'm on Instagram. I also have a website I built, www.CajonAlone.com. That's CajonAlone. And yeah, I mean, all the info's there. You can order straight from the website. I've also got contact info. If you're in the Boise area and you don't want to pay for shipping, you can shoot me an email and we'll figure something out. But yeah, it's kind of all the information's right there. I'm on YouTube. I've done a few YouTube videos. I have a how-to video that kind of shows you how it all works. And then part of my trip was I actually did some videos out in some pretty cool places. So got a video, one in the basement of my house when I was like ready to sell it. And then also I did one at the Redwoods, and I did one at San Luis Obispo. That place was amazing. So right in front of the ocean. So that's probably the best way to check it out. Otherwise, I'll be playing out and about around town. I'm going to hit some more open mic nights. Those are always a lot of fun. And, that's kind of where I think my prospective customers are.
Definitely, man. Pushing boundaries, inventing new things, coming up with new ideas. That's what it's all about. So make sure you check out CajonAlone.com for more information. Good job, Matt. Thanks for coming in and talking to us about it a little bit, man.
Thank you guys for having me. It's always great to see you and great to catch up.
Indeed, man. Coming up, Sports with Pete, which is always fun. We're bringing it back for day number 2. Hold tight.